Oh, we live.
We live.
Yeah, us live.
Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. How y'all?
Listen, my first sentence. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and today is Thursday.
All day long.
It's been a long week, and the first thing we need to do is pray.
Well, that's no problem.
And I need you to pray, Rev T, please.
No problem. We can get right to it. Let us bow. Precious Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this hour. We thank you for your Holy Ghost power.
Yes.
Woke us up this morning and started us on our way. And we just want to say thank you because you're God and God all by yourself. As we go through each and every day, and the sunshine is warm to us, and it's a chilly day, but that's all right. We thank you that we're able to feel it. We pray, mighty, that you shower your blessings upon this whole nation, from the outhouse to the White House.
All right.
We need your love, Lord. Help us so that we can be able to say to our brother, we love you. In the name of Jesus, we pray. And all the church said,
Amen. Amen.
Yes, indeed.
Well, thank you, Reverend Rev T, for coming on my show today. For those of you that don't know me, this is Pastor Freelon Rev T. What's the name of your church?
Faith Baptist Temple, 1073 East Grand Boulevard,
Oh,
north
right.
of New Jerusalem, east of Macedonia.
See, like you be going up and down. I'm gonna talk like him today.
Yeah. Carpenter Road. Anything north of that, Grand Boulevard. That's where we are for the last 31 years.
31 years.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why I had you on here today, Pastor Rev T, because I wanted to talk about a lot of the history and flavor.
Well, that's a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a blessing. That's what I told somebody today. That I'm going to listen and let you ask the question, and I'm going to try to. Or somebody told me you override. Well, I don't want to do that.
You're not going to override me, because trust me.
Praise the Lord.
I'll jump right in there.
I see you can hold your perpendicular.
Yes, I can. Yes,
that's
I
a blessing,
can.
though. No, it is a blessing because when you know your history, then you know your future.
Absolutely.
And that's something that's missing in our community. We don't know from whence we came.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we fishing and going all over the place. But when you know who you are and whose you are and who you belong to,
right.
Can't that move me? I swear.
That's right. But
no, man. hey.
All
Let
right.
the wind blow.
I heard that.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
heard that, Pastor.
Yes. Well, bless you. It's a joy being here.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And first, I want to talk about yesterday.
Okay.
Did you watch the city council yesterday?
I missed it because of other things going on, babysitting and stuff like that. So I missed it, and I usually get involved.
Right.
And but I missed it. You're going to have to bring me up to speed.
Well, I fell asleep yesterday.
Oh Lord!
And I woke up because I heard all of this screaming and hollering on the council show.
Oh Lord!
And I cut the TV off because I wanted to go back to sleep.
Okay.
But then when I woke up, I realized that it was the council that was on there screaming and hollering.
Oh, come on, my people.
So they told me today, they said, go and watch the last 5 minutes.
Well, all right.
So I watched the last 5 minutes of the council meeting. And that's all I can say.
That bad.
It was kind of tough. Well, and I didn't see Mr. Mays, so I'm not sure what happened to him.
Hey, you can't blame him.
I'm not sure what happened to him.
He's not the only one down there.
But you know,
need a little tweaking.
That's true, because somebody had said on the book this morning that Mays and Burns need to go. I said, well, wait a minute. She just got there in November.
Hello.
So what was the problem before then?
Right on.
And then Mays only been there, 8 years?
That's it.
So what was the problem before then? Right?
That's right.
So I had to think about those questions, and but last night from what I seen, things got a little out of hand. And I like what Miss Judy Priestley has said. She said, "This is why nobody wants to come to Flint and do business. Right. This is why we can't get the business of the city done." Right. And all of them ran. Even the ones that was there previously and ran again said they was gonna do better. Yeah. And everybody wanted to change. That's right. I don't see the change. What you think about that, Rev T?
You are on it, my sister, because that's my observation of our council and most elected officials. They make these promises, but then in the end, when they get in the fire, they break down. Right. And they point fingers at each other instead of taking a stand on the objectives of the city and carrying it through with a prioritized procedure. Right. The problem is the people. Right. The elected officials, they get down there, and I understand it because, it's a lot of pressure from influential groups in our city. And that's the problem. But if you run for a position, you have to sell out on the issues and to give your life for your constituents. See, the thing about it, they get down there and forget from whence they came. Right. Now, Mays is my man. Right. I don't like a lot of his procedure, but he's the only dog that's down there hunting. Now, Tanya, she's beginning to hunt. Miss Winfrey, procedure back and forth, and all those council. Eva, that first name right there tell you about her. Eva, the girl messed up, and she threatened me the other time I was down there verbally, because Big Mitch, and he said, "Look at that throw, she looking at you, funny." I don't know, well, so what? So I look back at her, But my thing is...
Yeah, I've seen her on the book talking about you. But you know what? I hate to cut you off right here. Save that thought. Okay. I seen her on the book talking about you. And what bothers me is that it be our own people letting people...
There you go.
Dog out our people.
Now
go ahead.
Now I'm glad you brought it to that, because that's one of our weaknesses. We've got to learn as Black people, I'm gonna bring it right where it is, right, to stand up for one another when they are right or have an objective that will take care of the business. Mays always initiates, he pushes, and he calls. Whoa, wait a minute. He's a good hunt dog. He sees something, he sniff out something and bring it to the council attention. But instead of them getting behind him and work that situation out, what you got? No, they want to dog you.
Right. And he's right on a lot of those things
all the time.
But because it's him.
That's right. And they've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, and pimped out. Because the mayor then had invited them to dinner or something and briefed them before they got to the meeting.
We didn't break bread with them?
No.
Okay.
See, and our problem is that we've got to learn. It takes 5 council people to agree on anything to be done in the city of Flint. Yes, sir. And look at the 5 down there. It's been like that years and years ago. We used to call them, we had a name for them. But anyway, if they would come together just for the cause and forget about their little personal prejudice. Right, right. And then being, well, am I doing right? Is the mayor gonna continue liking me? Forget that. Right. And that's what I told Miss Eva Worthy. She said that I don't have no business criticizing her. Well, I said, any elected official, and you're not right, your constituents should be criticizing you, right? Not me. Absolutely. From the third, since I'm in a third ward now. I used to be in the first, but I'm still a first ward. We're gonna talk about that too. See, so if the problem down there is distracting from the business, exactly. If they would think like the mission of our show. Stop, think, evaluate, and then make a moral decision. But we get caught up on our influential prejudice and so forth, and we get the devil. They allow the devil to use them.
Right.
That's what I said.
Right.
And I called Eva. I said, no, I don't have nothing against the lady, but the lady just got something against black men riding white horses. That's all.
Pastor Thurl
She can't stand the power from a black man. That's what it is. She just hit Ninth Ward too. I believe that's Ninth Ward.
Ninth Ward. She's Ninth Ward.
And all her constituents. And those constituents that live in her ward are mostly upper black folks. You know?
But yeah, and stay. I just want to say hello to a few people I see watching.
Uh-oh.
Hello, Miss King. Hello, Michael Clack.
Michael Clack.
Yeah.
Hey, my brother.
Sister Audrey Muhammad.
Oh,
hello.
Lord, Audrey Muhammad.
She's a beautiful lady. I
Oh,
love her
yeah.
to death.
Hey, it ain't over. It ain't over.
It
Get
ain't
ready.
over. Get ready.
Get ready.
My sister Victoria Fair, happy belated birthday again. She
Yeah.
celebrated her birthday, her 60th birthday this week. And
Let's
also my first lady, Miss Shirley Hill, Mrs. Shirley
Lord,
Hill. Yes.
Lord,
We're gonna let you tell that story in a
I worked
minute.
with her daddy.
You work with her daddy.
Her daddy.
And
Brother
then-
Hill.
Brother
on
Hill.
McClellan Street.
Well, she married Pastor Wallace Hill.
Well, not Mr. Hill. Her maiden name.
And
Yeah, her daddy.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what her maiden name
I
was.
don't
We just
know.
call the old man
Hazel
in the
Anthony.
shop.
Is it Anthony?
We call them.
What's your maiden name?
We always
First
had
name?
a nickname, but her father worked at the V8 engine plant. Yeah.
Hi, Miss Boyd. She
Yeah.
just joined us too, Miss Brenda Boyd.
Yeah, with Shirley and your pastor, Brother Hill.
Yeah, Brother Hill. You said he used to sit there and admire
man,
you, huh?
them two cats, him and Reverend
She
Sedan.
said Anthony.
Anthony, yeah.
All right, Brother
Okay,
Anthony.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mr. Anthony. Yeah, handsome brown skinned fella.
Mhm.
You know, had a nice brick home right there off of McClellan Street, Detroit Street in McClellan,
Mhm.
right down the street from Garfield.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure.
And you know my pastor.
Oh, Wallace. Oh,
Yeah, you was telling us a story about that. I be telling my pastor. I said,
they don't like-
Pastor Thrillkill said you admired him.
That's
And I'm
right.
like, bro, yeah.
Hey, they let everything they know. They watched us.
Well, then you
Yeah.
gotta be a magnificent
Well, the
preacher
Lord's
because
been good
Pastor
to me.
Bill is dynamic.
Oh, he's awesome. But see, the thing about
Oh, and my
relation-
sister Christine Brown, she watched
Oh,
the two
Lord.
habits.
You talking about Red Snapper?
Oh, Pastor Thrillkill, Lord, you just end the show, make it cut, just cut, because I'm just on Pastor Thrillkill.
Forgive me, sister. Me and her all right. Yeah, we go way back. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, but we're gonna get you to
Way
talk. We don't want to know how far
No,
back
That's
that
what I told my wife this evening. I said, I'm going to try to behave myself when they start asking me, but I don't care. I mean, I don't mean to hurt nobody, but I believe that you ought to be true to yourself.
Yeah.
But my problem is keeping it real.
Mhm.
Yeah, I try to keep it real.
We'll keep it
And
real.
sometimes somebody may get hurt. Because I got in trouble at the St. John reunion the other day by talking smack to a certain individual.
Mm.
But this generation, this young generation, when
Yes,
you
sir.
talk smack, you might come up shot. You know, so I have
Yeah.
to be cool because
Yeah,
their mentality is not like we were
coming
back
up.
in the day.
Mhm.
And just like I said, Shirley's dad, we all had nicknames in the shop.
Mhm.
So if we was talking about Mr. Anthony, we would say, well, Gap Tooth, Pigeon Toe, something like that. you know.
Right,
But
right,
we never addressed him as Mr. Anthony
right.
because we were just smack talking. You know, we had to do something to entertain ourselves from the slave master.
But it was unity back then.
yes.
When he was in the
yes.
shop, you know what? My dad is retired now. He had a nickname too,
Okay.
Big O, and
Yeah.
a couple other names I
Oh,
can't
man.
say on air,
That's
but
right.
y'all had some crazy names.
Oh, we talk. You know, it
He used to bring home them little papers and the little dirty jokes they used
Oh,
to have.
Yes, and even when the Lord would call one of the shop workers home,
Mhm.
and the mortuary would list their real name, we didn't know who it was.
Didn't know who it was till
Who
you
was
see the
that
picture.
guy?
Right.
Yeah, you know, on Gap too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's who you're talking about. Yeah, he died the other day. Well, they had his real name. We really didn't know. Just like
Hey, Shardy.
Mr. Anthony, I didn't know his real name, Shirley name, maiden name.
Right. But see, back then, what I was saying was like my dad, he would come home from the shop sometime, take him a little nap,
That's right.
fix him a little lunch, then he go back and punch out. But you know what? If we do that today,
those were glory days.
somebody that look like me and you gonna tell on me and you.
Right. And that's another thing about us as Black people. We have got to come better together and understand one another to move ahead.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't condone. I mean, we shouldn't be cheating, lying, and that kind of stuff. But we supported one another because we knew in order to move ahead, we had to be collectively together.
Right.
And that's what's we are so distracted and intertwined and going in all directions. And that's why I concluded today that 51% of the problem within the Black community is non-trust.
Yeah.
We don't trust one another.
That's true.
I'm always guys are looking over their shoulders and all this kind of stuff. You see, but back in the day, your word was your bond.
Right.
Just like our producer, he said, "Reverend, you gonna be here Thursday?" I had to write it down in my little book. Yeah, I woke up this morning
Thursday, I got something to do Thursday. Right.
We were that. I'm gonna be there.
Right.
But I'm not gonna tell you something and then not show up.
Mm-hmm.
See, but today, you better put that in writing.
Right. Now you Flint born and raised?
No.
Okay.
No. We came here.
Okay.
We Threll Kells came to Genesee County, Flint, Michigan, city of Flint, Michigan in 1953 as a family.
Okay.
My dad was here in 52 because he got here. He was in Flint a year before he bought us from a little town called Kankakee, Illinois, right below Chicago, right down 57.
Yeah.
And we were all down there. And then his friends, the Wood brothers,
mm-hmm.
who founded Arlene's Lounge,
okay.
They were all home buddies from Southern Illinois, real Southern Illinois, about 10 miles this side of Carroll.
I know my friend Deborah Love, she has a lot of family in Kankakee.
Okay, I heard of some Love.
Brooks and Collins.
Yeah, we played ball with some
I think
Love
one of my old church members, Diane Gray, I think she may be from
that sounds
Kankakee.
familiar too. Well, a lot of people that are bold enough to mention it, they are from Kankakee.
They bold enough.
No. They don't. They don't want to say they're from Kankakee, but hey, I can still spell Kankakee, Kankakee, just like Mississippi. Hear my crooked letter, I crooked letter, I humpback.
I learned that too. You've been watching people.
You know how they spell Chicago?
No, how they spell?
Chicken in the car can't go. That's the way you spell Chicago.
I love his little riddles.
The car can't go.
Listen.
Better known as Chi-Town.
Chi-Town.
Yeah, but Billiken Picnic. But anyway.
How long you been in politics, Pastor, and following what's going on downtown?
Oh,
when I say politics, I say UAW because it's all political.
Yeah. Well, I've always been what you call an armchair politician. I was asked to run by the late Chester Simmons in 1968, 64.
Who's Chester Simmons?
Well, Chester Simmons was a first ward commissioner.
Okay.
He worked with Golden Construction Company. He come off of St. John Street, Massachusetts, in St. John. Okay. He was one of the founders of the RG Club on St. John Street, better known as the Royal Guard. Okay. He sung in a singing group. He had one in butter style, very elegant dresser. He had a tax business up there right on the corner where Classic Barbecue is, Mr. Burton barbecuing. He had a little office there before they tore it down. Okay. He was quite a businessman. Flint raised, quartet, come from across the track, Massachusetts. And then
I hear people say come from across the track. What does that mean?
Well, just what it says. Most Black communities are near railroad tracks.
Okay.
If you go to Flint, Flint, across the track, is right there at Stewart Street and those tracks that run before the Flint River.
Right.
Okay, most of those people that lived in that area were cross. That's what you call. You had to cross the tracks to get to their community.
Okay.
Or either go under the track.
Okay.
Now Lee Street, you went under the viaduct.
Okay.
To go east up to St. John Street from Industrial and Lee Street. Lee Street went down under the railroad track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was Death Valley right there.
Death Valley.
Yes, ma'am.
Why they call it that?
Well, anytime you had a confrontation, meaning a fight with one of the cross the track boys, they would chase you under the viaduct.
Okay.
Now the viaduct was the dividing line between cross the track and north side.
Okay. You getting a lot of likes. People saying they know what's going on.
Oh, they following me?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because that was back in the day. In the 50s, in the 60s, well, the 40s, that area was pretty predominant black folk. Now, white folks lived in that area first.
Okay, so if I'm going down, so I'm here at Antioch Street and I'm going.
That's Stewart.
Okay, Stewart Street
Going
and
east.
then the tracks.
Yeah, the tracks.
Okay.
Now that's a story. Now today you go over the track at Stewart.
Right.
But back in our day, they didn't have the bridge.
Okay.
It was down ground level.
Okay.
And those bigot train, systemic racist train operators would deliberately block Stewart Street, deliberately, that those that lived across the track and didn't take Lee Street to the Buick or the Foundry, they were late getting to work.
Wow, they
It's
would
a
do
story.
that on purpose?
That's right. It's a story behind that overpass over that railroad track.
Never knew that.
Black was the white man would deliberately, and all them blacks that live across the track were late getting to work. So they got together, showing the unification in those days. Those union guys like Floyd McCree, Nate Turner, Edgar Hope, all of those big Bill Williams, all of those union people, they got together and they put a resolution together and took it to Buick management. And Buick management and the UAW worked it out that they built the overpass.
Now, when they did stuff like that back in the day, did they come to the community, or did you guys trust them well enough to make decisions for you?
They would come to the community because most of those community activists lived in the community, and the churches, those union people, and most of the people that worked for UAW were real active, and they wanted better. They wanted things to be better, so they unified. They came together. The churches, the pastors would talk about it. Go down to Burston Field House, they would talk about it. They'd be in the Max Barber Shop, they would talk about it. In the beauty shop, over the back fence, they would talk about it. You were talking.
So people was involved.
Oh, yeah, they were. They got involved because they wanted to do better. We deserve better. Because they came from Mississippi picking cotton on a Friday and then came to Flint over the weekend eating chicken and bologna.
It started in the shop that Monday.
Right. And that's right. You got a job. And there's a story behind that. Most of the people that came from the South, that black, there was a code word for the personnel. They told their relative, when you go to the personnel office for Buick, which was on Lee Street off of Industrial, which was going over just before you get under the viaduct. Buick had a large personnel office right there, right off of Industrial and Lee Street, going east. And you had to go up all these long stairs. But the code word was Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore. He was a personnel director.
That helped everybody get a job.
When you got us stood in line, got an application, you would say, "Could I speak to Mr. Moore?"
Wow.
And that's he had a process. Same way with Wright Funeral Home. Mr. Wright.
I remember that funeral
Mr.
home.
Wright came to Flint to desegregate the unemployment office.
Really?
Yeah. He was placed here. A lot of people don't know that. because when you went to the unemployment office to fill out your papers, if you didn't have stuff in order, they send you back to the beginning. Start at the back. But Mr. Wright, he would make it right for you right there in the window.
Oh, well, hey, Councilwoman Burns, Chris
Is
Taylor,
that
Tony
Mr. Burns?
Wiggins.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, Tanya.
Tanya.
Hey, Lord have mercy. Bless your heart. But that's getting back to the thrill, Kale. We came here, like I said, Dad brought us here in 1953 in the year of the tornado, around July.
The Beecher tornado?
Beecher
Okay.
tornado.
My mom, I remember my mom telling me about that.
Oh, it come from the west, right straight across the east. And the Flint Journal even wrote that God must have been a black man, because
Really?
He did not touch the black community.
Wait a minute, Beecher wasn't black back?
No, blacks wasn't even thought about being in Beecher.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Anybody quote me out there?
Look, I want
go
somebody
back to 53 and see how many black folks
Common Bookstore
in
and Social Hub. Thank you for joining us.
No, Beecher was
That's Flint's only black bookstore. Common Bookstore.
Good man. Good man. Like his wooden floors. Amen.
All right, so go ahead.
Yeah. But see, 1953, black folks didn't live really in a great abundance north of Pearson Road. We didn't live south of Hamilton Street. We didn't live west of Saginaw Street.
What?
That's right. And it is recorded by Mr. Norm Bryant that in the 40s, blacks did not live west of Industrial Street. Everybody was forced to cross the track. That's why on the north end of Flint, blacks came to the north end of Flint because of the foundry, Buick Foundry.
Okay.
But the first blacks to come into Flint was right here, just under the viaduct by the vets, the old vets club.
Oh, the black bottom.
Bottom.
The black
That's
bottom.
it.
Okay.
By the railroad tracks.
By the railroad tracks.
That's
yes,
right. Because Negroes hobo.
Okay. And they came
got
in
off.
and jumped off.
Right.
Okay.
And they moved down in that valley right there. And that's why Quinn Chapel Church is one of the oldest Methodist church in the city.
Okay.
Because blacks on the south side, that's where they started.
It's in
out of that black bottom.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And that was like 1923, 1913, somewhere along in there. And then on the north end, when Buick began to organize and built a foundry, blacks began to come up traveling or in cattle cars. They actually hauled blacks up. And up by Michigan Avenue.
Where's
Michigan Avenue was across the track.
Okay.
Across the track. Very prominent street over there, Michigan Avenue, turned into be the red light district. Yeah. That's where the girls hung out at.
Okay.
They call it red light.
Red light.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that.
Was in order back in those days.
Okay.
It was open, you know. Miss Lou, Mother Lou, Sister Lou on St. John Street, just past Lee Street, going south. Called the Lulu's.
Lulu's.
So everything you knew, the Michigan and the red light district, you knew where the gamblers were. The gamblers. For Sam's Liquor Store. We had a black-owned operated liquor store out there off of Selby Street. Really? So we had our own sustaining area.
Community within the community.
Right there.
Grocery store?
Oh, shoot. We had Po Taylor's grocery store was one of the largest black stores, which the Taylor family turned into the 50 grand later on. Okay. But across the street, I got a picture. I wasn't thinking I would have bought it. A Po Taylor's grocery store on the south side of Stewart Street between Industrial and Main Street.
Okay. Yeah, I know where Main Street
is. Okay. Well, Main Street used to continue when they had residents living there before all of that plant extended all the way from Damon, not Damon, but what is that? Gillespie Street. Okay. Somewhere Gillespie Street and Industrial. Yes, Buick used to end right there, but then they extended all the way to Stewart Street. Okay. And residents used to be in there.
So did they buy everybody?
That's right. They
Okay.
bought them out. You have to listen to Papa Jared. A lot of those families that lived in there, Norm Bryant lived in there. The Buick bought their house,
Okay.
and then you had the option of buying the house back, but you had to move it.
Okay.
Papa Jared now, the Jared family moved houses out of there.
Really?
They
So
moved
he's been
house.
in business that long? Because I
Girlfriend.
hear Papa say that, you know, I've owned businesses for years.
They daddy, the Jared family, everybody had a job.
Wow.
Legal or illegal.
Papa,
They
I
had
didn't
a
say that
dad.
he did.
They had a job.
Okay.
And they dad trained them. They were good people because we rented from them off of Lamina Street.
Really?
And the house that we rented was moved off of Main Street up to Stewart, and then made a right turn off of Main up to Stewart to Selby, and then made a left turn and went all the way up Selby to Lamina Street. And they set that house on the foundation, the Jarrett family. They were quite wealthy family, and
Really?
and they were self-sustaining because they were good workers. They had good work ethic. But back to the Threlkel family, due to the limitation of blacks, residential housing was very segregated in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, right on up to open housing in 67.
Okay.
That's how that started.
Okay.
Yeah. And they won't give Woody Etherly, an ex-council, he used to be third ward council person and a member of the Metropolitan Baptist Church. He was the one that initiated the protest for better housing and open housing. Because Flint voted, these white folks voted on an open forum. No, we don't want desegregation.
Wow.
No. We want black, and they still want us to stay across the track, designated area.
Right.
Blacks were not in Beecher District, not abundantly.
I'm blown away. I didn't know.
Did you tell them about the when a tornado hit? Because that's what my granny told me.
Yeah, he started with the tornado.
Flint Journal.
What did it say?
They said God must have been a black.
Thank you.
Wow.
It didn't touch the black community because blacks wasn't in Beecher. They didn't allow us.
So when they rebuilt it up after the tornado, it was still.
Well, yeah, after they built it up, and then the expressway. Here we go with 475 now.
Oh, okay.
But the bomb.
Bringing us up to speed.
They dropped the bomb.
Okay.
See, that's why they urban renewal. They dropped that bomb on St. John. So everybody in the St. John area and part of the north side had to go somewhere. So we went northwest, and some blacks began to move out there in Beecher District.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And after the 60s.
Okay.
Yeah, before then, no, black folk. If you live north of Pearson Road, you were plumb nearly out the city.
Wow.
Yeah, you went out there. There wasn't nothing out there. Horse liner, when you go out there past Pearson Road, it was dirt roads and no street lights hardly.
Carpenter Road, those roads or nothing?
Right. No, nothing.
No,
they had outhouses.
Outhouses.
That's right.
But the expressway, when you see the wall at, that wasn't a wall, that was dirt. I was playing that as a kid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we were limited to housing because of segregation. And the only people that really got loans.
It's a question for you, too.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
They said, ask him if he knew boys from St. John Street.
Boys?
The boys. B-O-Y-D.
I've heard of, yes.
Okay.
I knew some of them. I knew Heaney Boy, Johnny Boy, Carandas. I knew all them cats. They would fight.
But when you fight back then, it was and you lost. You took your loss and you went home. It was my best buddy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you. If you beat me, I knew you. I got you got my back.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We used to have our little group. Oh yeah, man. I tell you, Dr. Gitz, Ray Gitz, my dentist, lived on State Street on St. John Street.
And then you had Dr. Weaver's father.
Now they were more north side. They weren't cross track.
Okay. Now
I just throw the loop. Anything across the track, I don't think the Weavers came from across the track.
Okay, now across the track was back there.
Across the track would be east of the railroad track.
Okay.
In front of Stewart in front of Antioch. Anything across the track.
Okay.
To the east.
Okay, to the east.
Now everything this side of industrial was known as the north side.
Okay.
Yeah. Now that's where the Weavers. The Weavers come off of Rex Weaver Senior, Karen Weaver's husband's daddy. Come off of Dewey Street and North Street when I was in the 6th grade.
Okay.
He was a local dentist.
Right.
Connected with the public school system. And then we had a medical doctor on the corner named Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then right there at Stewart Street right now, that facility was built by Karen's dad.
Right.
Dr. Williams.
And she said he never had a chance to practice
see
it. Right.
Never really saw it.
Wow.
He died before it was completed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But that was a medical center that he dreamed to minister to his people.
I love hearing about the history of Flint. And when you talk about all of this, like 1940s, 50s, 60s, Black people got their education and they stayed here in the community to help other Black people come up.
A lot of them did and a lot of them didn't.
Okay.
A lot of them went white flight.
White flight?
Yeah, white flight.
Okay.
That means they moved out of Flint.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to a young man today who worked at the City Water Company, and I asked him, "You're a Flintstone?" He said, "Yes." I said, "What school did you graduate from?" He said, "Carmen."
Oh. Okay. That threw you for a loop, didn't it?
A little bit, but I say, "Son, Carmen ain't in Flint."
Right. Well, Flint Township.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. For if you experience our boundaries, we're very limited. That's why we fought for open housing, because these white folks and some Black folks did not want desegregation of houses.
Now, when you talk about Mother Deloney,
oh Lord,
she bought the first NAACP Flint chapter here, Flint, right?
I don't know about no.
On Hamilton.
She was not the first.
She wasn't.
No, the NAACP go way big back before Sister Mother Deloney. Before Mother Deloney even got to Flint.
Really?
Bless her heart. She hung in there. But there was an NAACP before that, and also it was an Urban League before that.
Wow, Rev T, I remember the Urban League.
Well, see, let's get back to the NAACP.
Okay.
The NAACP was so active. You had the Harvey, Mr. John Harvey. You had the Hoskin, and I can't name all the leaders back then, but there was an NAACP. Mr. Loney was one of the presidents of the NAACP later on. I think it was in the 70s.
Okay, Michael said his daddy was in that fight as well. Fort Clark.
Oh shoot, yeah. Well, about time he got here from Tyler, Texas.
And Christine said Mr. Holbrooks and Mr. Jared Storms on St. John Street.
Oh man,
Humpty Dumpty Penny Candy
Watch
Store.
Out, Cornelia Street.
Sibbs Grocery Store.
Watch out! Don't forget the Casablanca.
The castle, and I don't know nothing about
you
that.
Don't know nothing about the Fat Man. Well, these were social clubs that were in the Flint area. Tropicana right there by the Roper Brothers. It's still standing there. We had Duffy's. Later on, they called it Toughies because women fought in there with razor blades in their mouth.
Oh Lord!
Kind of
y'all was a little rough back then.
Ooh, well, don't go to the hut. Now the hut was on State and St. John Street.
Okay.
And had a whole bunch of steps. And Negroes would come out of there drunk and fall down. But we were self-sustained because of segregation.
Right.
Just like 9th Street in Little Rock, Arkansas. Because we were condensed, we were limited, so we rubbed elbows together. We shared, and money circulated in our community a lot longer than a dollar bill for 6 hours.
Right.
Yeah, the shining shoes. We had barbershop, beauty parlor, chicken shacks, all of the number man. If you couldn't get a loan at one of the leading banks, if you knew the number man, he helped you out.
Wow.
That's all. That money we stepped on our money. And if somebody hit the numbers on your street, Everybody got a piece of that.
Wow.
Just like in the country, our foreparents, when they slaughtered a hog, every family up and down that road got a piece of meat.
And we were in downtown. We had people representing us for our best interests downtown.
Right. You had it, but it just wouldn't progress because of the systemic racism. The man know just how far to go. He's still playing games with us.
Right.
He just let us get a little something. We get one step forward, and then we fall back 2 steps because of us.
Because of us. You're right.
See, we need to regain. That's why I'm supporting Dr. Weaver for mayor, because I just feel that when she was mayor, we were being represented throughout the whole community.
Not just in one little part.
That's right. Money's uptowns and the influential people of this city are controlling our tax dollars.
Mm-hmm.
We are being represented. Taxation without representation.
Right.
And we got to wake up. We got to control our dollar. Quit falling for the ropey dough. I told my son, I went in the room the other day, and boy, I got pushed so many tennis shoes. I said, boy, you know, even when he was a kid, I didn't buy him all them expensive tennis shoes. Man, he wore cover. You know, we don't know about all these name brand tennis shoes.
I was voting back then, Pastor Thrillkill. What did the black people?
We got those that came together. We came together, because if you didn't vote, the extended neighborhood would check you out.
Really?
That's right. We take you for a ride. You might come back. If you come back, you have a knot on your head.
Because you didn't vote.
Oh, we work with you.
Would you walk to the people would get together and walk to the polls?
Walk to the poll, hitchhike, jump on the running board. Where you going? Go on the poll, jump off.
And so when I talk to the pastors, my topic is, are we moving in the right direction? So I wanted people to get the history.
Okay.
A lot of people didn't know the history,
right,
where we come from.
Right.
So you're telling us about what you've seen, how with the experiences that you had growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So just listening to you, it's got to be hard to see what you're seeing now.
It's my blood pressure is up all the time. It's really devastating to see the mindset of our people as black people. We have lost the glory of being black.
Mm-hmm.
See, in the 40s and the 50s, segregation forced us to be together.
Right.
And then those inspired men and women in the group that were leaders, your pastors, your community directors.
Pastors always been involved in politics?
Not most of them have, yes.
Okay.
Because the church in the 40s and 50s was the center refuge, the meeting place.
Right.
That's the only place that black people could meet. They couldn't meet in the Masonic Temple.
What?
They couldn't meet over there, various where the IMA, the old IMA down there, where Michigan
University of Michigan,
I see called the white building, replaced the IMA.
Right.
The IMA
used to be Auto World.
No, before that, Auto World came later.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, that was a farce.
Okay.
That was a waste of money. That was a bamboozle. See, that's why I tore it down and hid it out of sight, out of mind. But the IMA was built by the UAW, United Auto Workers, and the gatekeepers of Flint came together and used our tax dollars, ordinary people working for the UAW,
yes,
and built that facility. A large auditorium with a stage and a basketball floor, that for entertainment.
Yes, sir.
But white folks entertained themselves in there from 8 to 12.
Okay.
And they let black folks entertain themselves in there after midnight.
Wow.
Right here in Flint.
Right here in Flint.
That's right, little Mississippi.
I see another lady, Miss Tracy Jones. Steve, she said Steve's Income Tax Service on Stewart Industrial next to 50 Grand across from Buick City. That was her dad's. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So when we talk, you talk about I didn't even know that Black people couldn't go in the outer world. I mean, not outer world, the IMA.
The IMA. Now, the outer world is another thing.
Right. I remember outer world. That was way later.
But we that worked at V8 engine plant, I put 8 hours assembling engines. Why would I want to go in the afternoon socializing, looking at a big old engine rotating around in the ceiling? Now, I like the replica of Flint, the extended part, where they had the Indians out there. They had built a little river go through there. Yes. They put little stores. They had little cobblestone streets and little boutiques and stuff like that. I like that. Okay. But to walk in there and see a big old engine rotating after I done put 8 hours building.
That's just not what we want to do.
But it was under that Six Flag concept. Just like the mayor talking about a state park down there in the hole.
Right.
On the river.
Chevy in the hole.
That's ridiculous. Who wants to be down there on the river, Flint River, and we can't drink the water?
No, you can't drink the water. You can't drink the water.
But they want a state park down there because he's collaborating with the president, with the governor, the governess of the Michigan. Okay. But the thing about it, we need to teach our people. These young people, they just like that young fella. He said he's a Flintstonian, but he graduated from Carmen.
He didn't know.
Yeah, well, his parents didn't teach him.
Right, that's what I'm saying. People don't know the history.
And they know it, but I think a lot of them don't want it to be known. Same way with south side of Flint, they had an area over there called Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill?
Yeah, in the 50s.
Wow.
Those were Negroes who used to live on the north side, economically became in position to buy homes over there off of Whitley Street, back off in there, Howard, all up there up to Quinn Chapel Church, all back up in there. That was known as Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill.
Hello.
Okay.
And when you move from the north side to the south side,
you just had a little bit of money, huh?
Just like the Jefferson. Moving on up.
Moving on
up. And I ain't mad at them. Because that's the thing what's happening today. Economics.
You get
will put
money?
You in position to move for better housing. And then they went from Sugar Hill to, Valley?
Evergreen
Valley.
Yeah.
And then they went from the valley
to the
state.
Okay.
Right.
Girl, I live in Evergreen Estate.
Evergreen Estate.
Not Sugar Hill.
Okay. It was a difference.
Well, I live on the south side, period.
Right.
I graduated from Central.
Okay.
And there was a different mentality in south side people versus north side.
Yes.
It was so deep that if a south side person stayed overnight on the north side, and when they came back to the south side, they had to shower and stay out 24 hours to make sure the roaches wasn't in their shoes.
Oh Lord, y'all was just too much back then.
We were class. We were classy.
But you said something that really caught my attention. It's always that classic one-liner. You said segregation. You had segregation, even though it was a bad thing, it brought you together. You had no other choice.
That's right.
But to look out for each other, but to stay together.
That's right.
And try to self-sustain each other.
That was the key.
And so, the destruction of St. John.
Hold on.
And people started just moving and scattering.
Freedom. Open housing and the expressway come through there. And that was intentional because it came from the federal government, camouflaged as urban renewal. And I'm going to tell you another little story about that. Oak Park.
Okay.
And where University Park is now, off of Saginaw Street, we lived on Wood Street off of Saginaw Street.
Okay.
My first apartment after I got married was right there on the corner, which is now Spelman and Saginaw Street. The first entry going into University Park.
Right.
Is
I know what that is.
original Mary Street.
Oh.
Used to be known as Mary Street.
Right.
And they changed the name to Spelman.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
To not be associated with
Yeah.
over there.
Well, it's the University Park.
Estates.
New residents and all of that. But before that, that were old residents, people living in that area. When the floodgates opened in 56, allowing black folks to move south to Hamilton Street.
My mother
That's
used to
when
tell
we
me that.
flooded. We flooded out Witherby, Patterson, Mary Street, Harriet, all the way to Cornelia Street.
Wow. All of that was white back then.
Yes. Yeah, the old St. John area was all white. Polish people, Lebanons, and all of them. When you check out the history, those bakeries, that's where they came from. They settled in that Stewart Street to Lake Lee Street, from the railroad tracks to the Flint River.
Wow.
Yeah, they were Lebanons.
Now, how did you all
They moved out.
interchange?
They moved out because blacks began to move in from tents. See, General Motors planted 3 big tents when they opened the foundry, and to house blacks from the South to work in the foundry, they put up 3 large tents until housing became available for them in the St. John area.
Black folks slept in tents?
That's right. That's right. Big old tent. They had 3 of them. One to sleep in, one to play in, and one to go to church in.
I'm just blown away.
Oh yeah, it's not written down nowhere, but it's been told by them old guys sitting in the box.
Right. And I think this should continue. And we should tell the story and get the story out, because I don't believe it's enough people that appreciate the struggle of where our parents and our grandparents came from. And we just gone crazy. We just gone buck wild.
That's right. And the gatekeepers, the white man know that.
Right.
Just like how they treated the Indians.
Right.
There's just a contemporary treatment of us as black folk. And then some of us, we fall through the cracks. Some of us get a little education. Some of us, Carter Woodson said in 1939, the miseducated Negro.
Right.
We that went to institutions, you become indoctrinated in that institution.
Right.
Most parents that sent children that went to parochial schools here in Flint, Sacred Heart, or Powers, they're going to learn the rosary that they wear around their neck, and with Jesus still hanging on the cross.
Right.
See, they're going to learn that before they graduate. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. But if you're a Baptist,
you're going to learn
not that.
No.
My grandmother told me to take that mess off of you. You're not Catholic.
Right.
You're a Baptist.
Right.
And then they bamboozled us. And if you're not Catholic, then you Protestant.
Oh, okay. You
Protestant.
Okay.
But that's a lie. Because when you study the word Protestant, that means protest. Baptist denomination never protests, from Martin Luther. Episcopalians, Presbyterians, Lutherans, and Catholics, they protested, but not Baptists.
That's a question for you,
What's
too.
the question?
From comic book store, they said there are pictures of the tents now at Sloan Museum after the tents built Baroque type houses, very type houses.
That's a possibility, yeah. Yeah, Sloan is doing a great history because, what's his name? Minister Threlkel is working in that area over there to update it, that history. And like you say, the narratives, they haven't been told, because the more my professor in the seminary here in Flint, the late Dr. Granville Smith, stated to us, said that every time the archaeologists come up with a discovery about Jesus Christ, it points more back to that there was a Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And see, a lot of times we as black people, we are made shame. They keep us in that mentality to be shamefaced, we call it back in the day. Yeah,
And they're still doing the same thing.
they're getting us.
They're making us think we need to look a certain way.
Yes,
Our
ooh.
bodies need to be shaped a certain
Yes.
way. We need to talk a certain way, walk a certain way,
Oh,
drive a certain car, live in a certain area. They got us.
mind boggling. And if we would study our history, we are the original people.
Right.
Black from the Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia. Where is that, Reverend? That's in the Garden of Eden.
Okay.
Well, where's the Garden of Eden, Reverend? In Egypt. Well, where is Egypt, Reverend? Africa.
In Africa.
That's where, if you don't believe in Darwin's theory, evolution, man came from from being made by Christ or God.
Right. Right.
Yeah. God made man and woman,
Right.
M-A-N.
Out of an image of himself.
Right.
That's right.
He reached down there in that mud in the Mesopotamia. He got some black dirt. The Mesopotamia is so cultured, so rich that you never had to cultivate the seed. Just throw them out there and it'll grow. You don't have to cultivate, you don't have to pull chop cotton, you don't have to pull no weed.
Right.
That's in the Mesopotamia.
Okay.
It was so rich. And that's where we came from. We evolved out of the creation that God made man. That's what the Bible said.
Pastor Threlkill.
Yeah, you keep it, doctor.
Keep the doctor. Dr. Pastor Threlkill. What do you think Flint needs to do in order to get back there? We talk unity, but we preach it, but we don't do it. You know. We were so tight and so together back in the day. We always hear those stories. It takes a village. We were a village. Everyone raised each other. We looked out for each other. We reached back and we brought somebody up. That's gone. All of that's gone.
Yeah.
How? What can we do?
Well, I'm going to borrow a statement. I listened to a show called 910 Superstation.
Okay.
And they got a gentleman on there. And every time he comes on and they be talking about change, how do we go to the future? How do we prepare for the future? And he said this morning, just this morning, he said, you have to whoop the mind.
Right.
Whoop the mind. And I based that on the Romans 12, 1 through 3. 12th chapter, Romans, the first 3 verses.
Uh-huh.
I beseech you, man, I'm paraphrasing.
Okay.
I beseech you, my brother, that you will not be, that you consider your body as a temple.
Right.
But be not conformed to this world.
Right.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
That's right.
So this young man said, you got to whoop the mind.
Right.
We've got to reteach. As my professor said, I have to unteach you all so that I can teach you.
Right.
So we have got to constantly put pressure on teaching.
Exactly.
Teaching and then giving, then follow up on.
Right.
Are you doing what we told you?
And that's why I think we should sit down and we should talk to our elders in the community.
That's right. Let's talk.
And we need to prepare because right now, to be honest, I don't see a future for Flint. I can't see that plan.
Well, it's out, it's there. I see it. But
it's not for us.
Well, it may not be for us, but I have 6 great grandchildren.
Okay.
See? So I know I may not get there. What did Moses say? I may not get there, but you all get there.
Right.
Martin Luther King said it too, didn't he?
Right.
I've been there.
Right.
I've seen the lightning flash.
All right now.
I heard the thunder roll.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I see little black boys and little black girls holding hands all there. I may not get there.
Yeah. When you get
but there is a promised land.
Yes, sir.
There's a better day.
Yes, sir.
But it's going to take hope and training and reconditioning and shaping, molding our young people.
Yes.
See?
Because they don't understand the struggle. I feel the reason why I told Mickey, I said I want to have Pastor Thrillkill on there. I want to educate the people about where we came from, because if we valued or just had an interest about everything that our parents, our ancestors have been through, maybe we wouldn't be so quick to just give it away.
Amen. That's it.
You know, you said St. John, it was a community.
That's right.
Now St. John is a weed factory.
That's right. I'm disappointed in us, in the way we handle it. In myself. I gave away a 63 split window Corvette.
Oh wow.
I had the opportunity to buy it. $4,200. 1963.
Okay.
Split window Corvette. Automatic. 2 seats.
What happened?
But when I drove home with it, living in my daddy's house, he said, son, what you gonna do with 2 seats? I didn't have the, excuse my French, the guts to tell it for me and my woman.
Yeah.
Because I'm living in his house.
Right.
He said, boy, take that car back.
And you took it back.
I took it back.
But you was grown.
Who?
But you listened
Working
to him.
like a man with 10 babies and V8 engine plant.
And you didn't tell him I can do what I want to because I'm grown. You don't tell me
back,
what.
not
back
living
then.
under my daddy's roof.
Yeah.
No,
that didn't happen.
No, I didn't do that. Now my other 2 brothers did, but I no, I wouldn't know. I never went against my parents. When they say sit down, I sat down.
Right.
Stay on the front porch. I stayed on the front porch. When they went around there stealing watermelon from the Central Wholesale down there, I didn't go.
Pastor Hill tells a story all the time. I forgot what Pastor said they stayed at. I want to say Main Street.
I think he was about there because they so many
So many
variations.
people. But he said he was a little kid and he was playing baseball in the street.
Yeah, his grandmother, Mother Ethel.
And he said the ball went across the street and broke the neighbor's window.
Oh, yeah, one of those.
Yeah. So he said immediately when it broke and the man came back across the street and said, Hill, this your baseball?
Your ball, yeah.
And he said that I think it may have been $30 back then, but that was a lot. It was the rent money. Right. And so his mama told him, I'm gonna tell your daddy when your daddy get home.
Oh no, yes, sir.
Pastor Hill said he sat there on that front porch and he waited and he seen that bus pull up and his daddy get off. He said he just started crying.
Yeah.
And he said his daddy said, boy, what you crying for?
Yeah.
And he said, tell me what you did.
Yeah.
He said, broke the window over there. And the man came across the street. He said he told his wife, go in there and look under the mattress. I guess it wasn't no banks there.
Mattress.
And get $30 out the rent money and pay that man.
That's what that was the way, the mindset of relationship with one another. If you did the crime, you done the time.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of us, I've been in that same situation. My parents had to pay some money, but I try not to do that again.
Right.
See, if Daddy told me to stay on the front porch till I get back, I stayed on the front porch. Now, like I said, I had a couple of brothers. They didn't stay on the front porch.
Stay on the front porch.
Yeah, Daddy said be home at 11 o'clock, and they might have a little girl under the mistletoe or something, and it's 11 o'clock. I'm gone. Right. I gave up some sugar to get back home so I wouldn't get my butt to her.
Right.
That's right. Daddy said be home at 11 o'clock.
And you was home.
Ooh,
but it was respect back
that's
then.
That's right. When the street light come on,
he was gone.
I don't care if I was 2 girls in my hand. That's to go, boy.
All right now, Pastor. Don't get to talk too much.
I had to go. This is adults to children, not adults. But the truth is the truth. And another thing, you say, how can we move forward? We have to keep it real. We that are leaders, if we are an elected official, we need to check out that candidate.
Absolutely, sir.
And if that candidate say you don't have the right to criticize me, check them off.
That's right. That's right.
That's you representing me. Just like I'm a trail care. My daddy, boy, these are the consequences.
Right.
These are the things out there. That's what a parent's supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
My daughter celebrated her 55th birthday yesterday.
Wow.
and they were celebrating at a very popular venue,
Mhm.
what they call a place. And I wondered, why did she choose that place?
Mhm.
But she grown.
Right.
She grown.
Absolutely.
But I would tell my children, and these preacher kids, we want to go to the dance, Daddy. Well, I set them down. Who you going to dance with?
Right. I got to
That's
meet
my
him.
job.
Right. I want to meet him before you
Right,
go.
who you going with? Well, so and so, so. But they know how to switch things around, meet you around the corner, that kind of
Right,
stuff,
right.
you know.
But if they came to the house,
That's
it
right.
wasn't no honking and running out.
No.
You got to come to the door.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I did. And I let them go. But I would tell them the consequences. And I thank God today that they didn't get any serious trouble because they knew. And back then, I always gave them a quarter to make a phone call.
Yeah. In case you got in trouble.
Hello.
Yeah. My mama said, always
That's
keep
right.
you some money
Hey,
to call.
that's right. You
Right.
got a quarter in your pocket, you ain't got to dance to the circumstances.
That's right.
See what I'm saying? And so I done that trying to help them because I had an understanding. I wasn't the most popular guy out there, and I didn't hang out in. Matter of fact, I never been in the RG club. I never been in the Golden Leaf sitting over there.
Oh, wow.
But that's because I didn't have really
I've
no
been in the
interest.
Golden
You
Leaf,
know?
Reverend Pastor.
Yeah, well, it's jumping. It's the only club that's hanging out over
My
there.
granddaddy helped build the Golden Leaf. Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah.
But to get back, we've got to come up with a plan and teach our people the narrative, our history, and then see that it's carried out. Ask for more accountability. Demand, not ask. Demand accountability from our elected officials, knowing that they are our representatives, not for their personal gain.
Absolutely.
We've let too many. And then our pastors in this city, we need to, as the power is really in the pew.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You love your pastor.
Absolutely.
Lift him up there.
Right.
But don't make him Jesus.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
he's still man.
Hello.
He's still man.
That's why Israel historically got tired of them stuffy prophets, Isaiah, Jacob, and all them, or not Jacob, but Jeremiah, all of them prophets. Thus says the Lord to the Israelites. They got tired of hearing them messages from the Lord.
Okay.
See, that's why when they crossed the Red Sea, and Moses left them for a minute and went up to talk to God about the 10 Commandments,
Yeah.
they had a party down there.
Mm.
All it took was one guy. If
Mhm.
you watch the 10 Commandments,
Right.
you could see it right come before your eye. He said, let's party. Let's build our own God.
Yeah.
Give me your earrings. Give me this. Give me
I
that.
seen
Give
it.
me
Yeah.
that.
They built
Melt
gold.
it down.
Yeah.
Built them a golden
They
calf.
sure
They
did.
started drinking that funny Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they started chasing one another.
Right.
Here and
Right.
there.
Right.
And Moses heard all that racket. What's going on down there? They having a party. God said, them your children. So the point I'm trying to make is we got to change our narrative and tighten up. We got to whoop our mind.
That's right.
Whoop the mind of our children. When I say whoop, I don't mean to be brutal, but condition, shape, form,
Right.
and work with them. I babysitted, my wife and I babysitted two of our great grandchildren. They big guys, but I had to put a little muscle on one of them.
Right. You got to.
Because I
That's
told him
what
to sit
you're supposed
down. He just kept playing. Yeah. Hit one of my sore knees. Oh, boy.
And you grabbed him. Yeah, but he didn't do it no more, did he? But see, our children, they in school, they're taught history. His story.
That's right. You got a good point. His story.
His story.
He who writes their story writes what they want to be written.
Right.
Hope I got that right.
No, you got
teacher.
that. You got that right.
So that's what we got to take this thing by the bullhorn, take back what Satan has taken away from us, and those that are in our way, we call them out.
And it's not. We don't have to dislike you personally.
No.
We just don't like you in the political
There
arena.
you go. What you're doing is not right.
It's not benefiting
That's
us.
right. And that's why I say we need a change
We
because we deserve better.
right. We deserve better.
Better.
Pipes haven't been
Look
touched since 2019, since Dr. Weaver has been in office.
Mhm. And it's sad that that incident and the money that I was down there, they were the mayor had sent down a recommendation to hire a company out of Detroit, a father and son.
Right, I seen that.
And somebody said that they really don't own their company.
Yep, he said he was gonna have to have subcontractors.
And he gonna need more work, and definitely so. But what happened to WT Stevens?
They still haven't got paid from the last
Well,
one,
see,
so they'd be a fool to bid on this one.
Well, that's why I say, and they only got one bid out of 3 or 4 months, I understand.
Because the people know that it's impossible to finish that many service lines before the ground frees up in November.
And then this fella, the mayor, one of the Pfeiffer,
Dennis Pfeiffer.
yeah, he challenged them, say, do you have a work schedule? Completion, you know, can you guarantee so many jobs? No.
He said, no, we just gonna get done what we can get done.
Yeah,
I said
and
that.
then collect 117 million.
No, 17.8 million.
17.8
No,
million.
17.8
million.
not 100. Okay, thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Because I jumped out to see. I said, I'll get me a rake and start raking and give me a million.
And go change you some
Right.
pipes.
But
But it's a rush now. It's
Yeah,
election
and
season. They're trying to
then
say,
it
I
just-
changed pipes.
that's
I
right.
did this.
and then they got it the resolution to the council about 2 hours before the meeting.
Yeah. So they didn't have no other choice.
No, and it backs up against. Well, my back up against the wall, but we got to have it done.
And what makes me so mad, send it back.
That's right.
You don't have to fall
Man,
for it.
that's right.
Just like May said, when they passed that budget, you gave him a blank check and said, go ahead, do what you want to do. I bet you if you would have said, we only going to give you $5,000, he would have came back and presented a detailed budget.
That's what I'm talking about.
I never seen
got
a
to
budget
whoop
that
in
was
line.
for a city, a multi-million-dollar budget with PowerPoints.
And that's sad. We were down there. Then that's what caused the friction between the council people because they haven't learned they got to get off of their personal influence to stay in love with the stay in good with the mayor instead of taking a stand and say nope.
Right.
No.
This
do
is
it right.
not in the best
That's
interest
right.
of the people.
That's right.
That's what
and
needs
all
to
5
happen.
of them should come together. Every one of them.
All 9 of them.
Well, that's right.
All
But
9
at least
of them.
them 5.
Right.
If nothing else, them 5 should okay for the people.
For the people.
That's right.
All 9 of them. It's like nothing gets done, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And then you leave there, you go over to the school board.
Oh Lord.
That was a mess too last night because we got a new president. Carol McIntosh is back as
You got
president.
McIntosh.
Yep, and Chris Del Moroni is vice president.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah, and then Danielle Green is the treasurer now again.
They allowed them to cost money.
Yeah, so they got a whole new change up over there.
Yes, but there again, that entity needs to be scrutinized. See, that's the thing that back in the old school, we had ways of checking people. Like I told you, if you were on the school board, if you held a position at Hurley Hospital, you was a key person over here, and you was a head deacon at this church. The membership had ways, the community had ways of checking you. They would meet over at the water hole, which is now the Golden League. It used to be known as the watering hole.
Okay, was it a hole of water there?
It was just a place, a bar, where they all showed up. Doctors, preachers, businessmen, all sat there, and they would converse about certain things.
Really?
Say, well, we got a problem with the school board over here. Well, what's happening? Well, so-and-so is doing this, and so-and-so is doing that. Well, now you know what Coleman Young did when he had problems. They were having problems with prostitution on Woodward Avenue.
Right.
Coleman Young said, well, If them white boys would stay in Mount Clemens where they belong, we wouldn't have no problem with prostitution on Woodward Avenue.
Right.
And then if it got a little rough and he needed some muscle, he would call on his old ex-friends off of 16th Street.
Okay.
So that's how we did back. They would send certain people, like I say, to visit you,
Okay.
have a little conversation.
Just sit down and
That's
talk.
right.
Yeah.
Rub up against you and
Mhm.
let you know that if you don't straighten up and fly right, we got something for you.
Yeah, you need
We
to
call it Code 3 in the shower room football team.
No doubt.
You know what I'm talking
I
about?
know exactly
Yeah,
what
you
you're
know what
talking
I'm
about.
talking about? Yeah, we
Exactly.
have ways of handling our own. We policed our own.
And
We
not
didn't-
out here in the
no,
public
we
for the
didn't get
public to
the
see
county
and blast
law.
it.
We didn't need no county sheriff. We knew who the bad people were. Just like I told you, we knew who the gamblers were. We knew who the red lights were. We knew who Pawn Shop Shorty was. We knew who Slap Dolly Monty was, and we knew who Miss Cates was. You ever heard of Miss Cates?
Never in my life.
Miss Cates saved a lot of black people from the South that migrated up here and didn't have a job.
Okay.
Right there on, it was either Dayton Street and Industrial, but off of Industrial, she had a little old cafe. And she would make a foot tub of Navy, Great Northern Navy beans. And she would cook a big old pan of cornbread. And she would feed people until they got a job. And most people
This
were
is just
working
somebody in the
and
neighborhood.
That's right, Miss Kate.
If
You
you
Google it
hungry,
up.
you just go and
You
eat.
just go eat. And then you pay her when you got your job.
And then she just kept it going.
She kept it going.
and
Miss
then the
Kate.
people would keep it going
That's
that
right.
help to help somebody else.
That's right.
You
They
don't have
remember.
that anymore.
They remember.
Wow.
And then the beer vault sat right there on Leaf and Industrial. And that's where the guys would hang out. They come in, and if they didn't get a chance to get hired in the Buick, because Buick was the main hiring, you had AC down off of Harriet Street. The original AC was on
Fisher Body? You have Fisher Body too?
Oh,
Or did that
Spark
come
Plug,
along?
AC Spark Plug.
Okay.
AC Spark Plug was right there at Harriet and Industrial.
Okay.
Fisher Body was South Saginaw
Right,
Street,
right. My dad was there.
Atherton Road.
Okay,
You
okay.
see. Now then you had AC. Then AC moved out on Industrial. Then you had Termstead way out on Coldwater Road out there.
Okay.
So when you came to Flint, you would hit those spots. Now to get those civil service jobs, working in the post office, working at Hurley Hospital.
Those were exclusive jobs.
That's right.
Okay.
That's what they call a civil service job. You had to at least have 6 months residence in Flint
Okay.
before you could get a job. Then General Motors, so many Negroes started coming up, getting hired, man. Then they begin to say, we're not giving out the application unless you've been in Flint 6 months.
But they made you own your city. They
Well,
told you, and you took value. You had to stay here.
You had to because of segregation. My pastor said, the late Arthur J. Pointer said, when the white man took the whip off of our back, then we went crazy. Look at that movie. What is Mandingo?
Mandingo.
Mandingo, whatever.
Yeah, Mandingo.
When he captured, overtook the black men inside of that little stagecoach carriage, little wagon with the bars on it, and he freed them.
No,
Yeah.
he talking about not Mandingo. The
Django.
Django.
The
Yeah,
Django.
yeah.
Okay.
The Django.
Okay.
He asked them to come out. They couldn't move. They wouldn't move.
They know
They
what to
didn't
do.
realize.
That they was free.
And Harriet Tubman said, if my people would have mentally knew that they was
Slaves, I could have
would've
freed a
freed
lot
whole
more.
lot of them.
That's what she
And
said.
that's why we are locked in. And the gatekeepers and the house Negroes, they keep that type of mindset going. And that's why the council is not functioning, because there's nobody putting them in check. Mayor Neely is laughing at, well, the city, my wife is laughing at the council. You see?
Yeah.
Why go down there? If you go down there, I could make some money if I sold some popcorn.
You could.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Dinner's
Sell
outside.
popcorn,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and because it's a big show.
Yeah,
It
it's a
is.
movie, yeah.
It is a
And
show.
it is a distraction. But if those 9 council people would stop, think, evaluate, and then make a moral decision, there wouldn't be no confrontation.
Right, but they can't put their personal differences
Now I know
aside.
that, but you got somebody urging them, man. You got,
Right, exactly.
You got the system
Right.
will you know.
I remember Dr. Weaver standing at the podium,
All right.
but I've never seen Mayor Neely stand at the podium. And I think a real leader would go up there and say, look, we may not like each other.
That's right.
We have our differences, but for the community, because that's what we're elected to do.
That's right.
We were elected by the community to help move Flint forward.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done that. You know, the day that he was elected, we were all out having dinner. That afternoon, it was snowy when he got inaugurated.
Yeah, it snowed white.
Snowed that day. It was so
City
bad.
of Flint was white.
It was. It was. It turned white that day. I can't stand you.
White.
It turned. Stop, Pastor
right.
Girl, but it turned white that. It turned white that day.
It turned white.
And they had a council meeting, and it was a very influential person who said, "You need to get him to go."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Mary Neely, you need to go to the council meeting because that's what you said you were going to do, and introduce yourself. And just let them know that you're going to be involved. And he put his hand on Santino's shoulder. He said, that's your house.
Okay.
There. I'm going to stay in mine.
Right.
And he didn't go.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the attitude of Mr. Neely. Before he ran, while he was state rep, and I was doing our radio show every Saturday, and his show, he come in the studio, and he state rep. So I pulled it to the side, because I knew his dad, Sam,
right.
Mr. Neely. I worked with his mother in the shop.
Okay.
He's 180 degrees from his family. But anyway, this is a new day.
Right.
And I asked him, because Flint was having problems, cameras in office. I said, why don't you in the state rep, you need to do something. Say something to Snyder and them boys up there. And he said that I'm not, just like you said, I'm staying in my house. So right then, he was off my, even when he was a but he was a council person. I didn't like his politics. I like him as a person. I like his, I didn't know he was an electrical broadcasting engineer at Channel 12. I didn't even know he worked there.
Part of the union over there, he did the last contract.
They never did show him. They showed Don Jones, but they never showed him.
I think he was more behind
the scene. I understood that. And he's very articulate, so forth and so on. And
to put together beautiful words and can draw you in.
That's right. And so, but he grew up with one of my nephews off of Elizabeth Street. And so they gave me the rundown on him. So I've been praying for him because I want him to become a better person and to take Flint to a higher level. But his politics have not showed me that.
Right. So that's why
he gets in a meeting and like you say, he stays in his lane and he's listening to the gatekeepers, the Tim Hermans and the Uptown, this and all of that, take up the bricks for Cram and all that kind of stuff. And but not taking care of the blight on the north end. It's mattresses right off of Dorton Highway and Pearson Road. Been laying there ever since he's been in office.
Dorton Pearson?
Yeah. Dorton Highway. Going
you
north.
said ever since he's been in office?
Yeah, the mattress still laying over there on the side. Right under the viaduct, coming west.
They won't be there tomorrow because you just said it on there.
Well, he ought to get it. He ought to get it. Right. But to help us to become a better people, we have a lot of work to do ourselves.
Right.
My dad said everyone ought to sweep around
their own front door before you sweep around mine.
Our biggest problem is us. And they said it this morning on Super 10 show.
9-10.
Yeah, 9-10. That we have got to whoop our minds. We've got to orchestrate. We've got to work harder to train our people and to expect things. Don't wait on the man.
Right.
Quit waiting handout. Everyone, I hate to see us go down there to the council and beg for money.
We gotta beg for our own money, Pastor.
Those are tax dollars.
Right.
That aren't
But
money.
they gave you $300.
Oh man,
they give you crumbs. They give you a credit.
A credit.
Won't even go towards the payment of the shut-off.
Oh man.
That he done sent out. There's 1,200 people.
And then he's already calculated that in 3 months, the rate of water, which is the highest rate in the world.
Right.
You know, they sat down there and the council, Mays was trying to lower the water rates and everything. The council voted down.
Right.
You see?
Because they are doing what they are told.
That's right.
And that's why
I wanna keep them
I'm
happy.
here.
Yeah.
That's why people say you can walk away and leave this alone. You can be in Grand Blanc. No, because my people in Flint, they're like this.
Yep.
They can't see the forest for the trees.
Amen.
And they are so blinded. They listen. Council already know how they gonna vote before they get out there on that floor. Okay, I just hate to bust y'all bubble, but it's just a show.
Yeah, they're the mind made up.
Mine has already been made up. If you want better, you have to do better. I can't make the residents of Flint want better. I can't make the residents of Flint want better. You gotta want better for yourself.
That's right. You gotta come to your senses.
You got to. Last words, Pastor Threlkin.
Well, I'm glad to be here this evening and just to be sharing what little history I know with you. And I just hope that we as a people continue working together. And when you go to the poll this coming November, don't forget WWW. We want Weaver.
That's right. WWW. We
That's
want
right.
Weaver. Pastor, tell them about the church. What time did church start?
Well, we are still virtual right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
But our church virtual, we are Zooming.
Zooming.
That's
Zooming.
right. We Zooming. And my wife is my technical advisor. And every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. we Zoom. And if you want to get on, just call my number, 789-2686. Oh, yeah, Saturday morning we'll be here.
Saturday morning, you got your own show on 1420.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. That's
and
right.
The mayor has allowed us to come from her headquarters. Amen. And we'll be here with our technical advisor, Brother Jordan.
Yeah,
Amen.
Brother Jordan.
And we appreciate him introducing me to Facebook. Is that Facebook?
Facebook. That's Facebook, sir.
And you're on YouTube.
Okay.
Facebook and YouTube.
What?
Yep, you're on YouTube
And
too.
YouTube?
Yep, you're on
Did you
YouTube.
say YouTube or YouTube?
YouTube. Tube. There's a tube.
Well, praise the Lord anyway. But Flint, let's go. We can do it. We come together. We can turn this city right side up.
That's right. Thank you. And
God
I want
bless
to
you.
thank Pastor Threlkin so much for coming on. We could talk for hours about the
girlfriend.
history. I love hearing about the history
Well, I
of
love
Flint.
talking.
And I'm going to have you back again.
Well, thank you.
I'm going to
It's
have you
an
back
honor.
again.
I didn't know that I was going to be in such great company.
Oh,
But I'm always admired to just come down here. But if I had been, like old boy said, if I didn't know that, I'd have baked the cake.
Pastor now.
Got you a little cake.
Look, hey, huh?
I made some hot water bread yesterday with some pinto beans.
Oh, I ain't that.
A couple of smoked neck bones.
Oh, okay.
I can do it.
Well, listen, I thank all of you, every single last
Amen.
person that tuned in. I thank you all for tuning in tonight. Also, I want to put a plug in for my pastor, Pastor Wallace Hill III,
Amen. Yes, God.
Mount Pisgah Baptist Church,
Yeah.
6415 Clio Road.
Oh, yeah.
We have worship services on Sunday at 10 a.m. So please join us in person or either on Facebook Live. Next Thursday, I will be here again at 6 p.m. Also, tune in Friday at 6 o'clock for Satara. She always has a fire show. And then we have shows Saturday that we would love for you to support. Reverend Threlkin from 8 to 9. And also Deacon AC Dumas that comes on at 9:30. And as always, last but not least, thank you to ATN News Media Group. If you like what you're seeing, Mickey, what's the cash app?
Well, let me put it in there for
He
you.
gonna put the cash out
Yes,
for you
ma'am.
because we
That's the
need
new way.
funds to keep this going. We gotta keep
Amen.
Mickey paid.
Yeah,
So
put
Mickey will keep recording us
Praise the
because
Lord.
nothing is free, and we
Amen.
want to support our own.
That's right.
That's what we want to do. So
Got to.
thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you again soon. Have